Cambodia exports billions of dollars worth of goods every year, but moving those goods has never been simple. A truck leaving Phnom Penh often slows down the moment it hits the outskirts of the city. It joins long lines of traffic on narrow highways, passes through towns not built for heavy freight, and then crawls toward the border. Now think about what happens next. That same truck still needs to reach Vietnam, connect to ports near Ho Chi Minh City, and then ship those goods to global markets. Every delay along that route adds cost. And for a country trying to grow its manufacturing base, those delays matter more than anything else. For years, this has been one of Cambodia's biggest limitations. Not a lack of labor, not a lack of demand, but a lack of fast, reliable infrastructure to move goods at scale. So China stepped in with a project that looks simple on the surface, but carries much bigger implications underneath. The project at the center of this shift is the Phnom Penh Bavet Expressway, a major highway designed to change how goods move across Cambodia and beyond its borders. The expressway stretches about 135 kilometers or about 84 miles, linking Phnom Penh directly to Bavet, one of the country's busiest border points. Construction officially commenced on June 7, 2023, and is progressing towards a planned 2027 completion date. It is being built as a 4-lane highway with 2 lanes in each direction and space reserved for future expansion if traffic demand increases. Unlike traditional roads, this expressway removes almost everything that slows vehicles down. There are no direct intersections cutting across traffic. Entry and exit points are limited and controlled. Local traffic does not mix with long-distance freight. That alone allows vehicles to maintain stable speeds, typically in the range of 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. The total cost sits in the range of $1.6 to $1.7 billion, making it one of the largest infrastructure investments in Cambodia in recent years. But this is not just about distance or cost. It's about what this road connects. The road itself is not random. It follows one of the most important economic corridors in Cambodia, linking the capital directly to the Vietnamese border. Once trucks reach Bavet, they can immediately connect to Vietnam's highway network and move toward ports near Ho Chi Minh City, where goods are shipped globally. That connection matters because Vietnam already has established export infrastructure, deep-sea ports, and faster access to global shipping routes. Cambodia, on the other hand, has struggled to match that level of connectivity. So instead of building everything from scratch, this expressway links Cambodia into an existing system that already works. The project is being developed with Chinese backing, both in terms of financing and construction. It fits into a broader pattern where China invests in transport corridors that connect smaller economies to larger regional trade networks. If you compare this to what existed before, the difference is clear. Previously, trucks relied on national roads with mixed traffic, frequent stops, and unpredictable delays. Now, this expressway introduces a controlled access system built for consistent speeds, higher capacity, and fewer interruptions. So this road does not just connect 2 cities, it connects Cambodia into an existing export system that already handles large volumes efficiently. Building a 135-kilometer expressway might sound straightforward, but the stretch between Phnom Penh and Bavet brings a set of challenges that slow down even large-scale projects. The terrain across this region is mostly flat, but that does not make the job easier. Much of eastern Cambodia sits on low-lying land that floods during the rainy season. When water levels rise, the soil weakens, and heavy construction equipment cannot operate at full efficiency. So before crews can even focus on speed, they have to deal with ground conditions. In several sections, engineers are building elevated road segments to keep the expressway above flood levels. These raised structures allow water to pass underneath without damaging the roadway. In other areas, drainage systems are being installed alongside the highway to control water flow and prevent long-term damage. The foundation work is one of the most critical parts still ongoing. Soft soil does not support heavy freight traffic over time, so crews are reinforcing the ground using multiple layers of compacted material. This process takes time because each layer must settle properly before the next stage begins. Rushing this part creates long-term problems, so progress here is steady rather than fast. At the same time, construction is happening across multiple sections of the route. Instead of building the road from one end to the other, different teams are working simultaneously on separate segments. You have earth-moving crews clearing land in one area, paving teams preparing road surfaces in another, and bridge construction happening further along the corridor. This approach speeds up the overall timeline, but it also requires tight coordination. And then there is the seasonal factor. During heavy rains, progress slows down. Equipment cannot operate efficiently in flooded or muddy conditions, and certain stages of construction have to pause until conditions improve. So while the expressway is moving forward, it is not a straight, uninterrupted process. It is a phased build, with different sections advancing at different speeds depending on terrain, weather, and logistics. And that raises an important question. If building this road is this complex, why is China investing so heavily in making it happen? The Phnom Penh Bavet Expressway is backed by Chinese state-linked companies, and the structure follows a build-operate-transfer model. That means the company funding and constructing the road will also operate it for a fixed number of years, collect toll revenue, and only later transfer ownership to the Cambodian government. So this is not just construction, it is a long-term investment, and this project fits into a much larger system connected to the Belt and Road Initiative. Across Southeast Asia, China has been funding roads, railways, ports, and energy projects that connect smaller economies to major trade routes. The logic is simple. If transport links improve, trade flows increase. And when trade flows increase, both sides benefit. For Cambodia, this means access to infrastructure that would otherwise take much longer to build using domestic funding alone. For China, it means stronger economic ties, more influence in regional logistics networks, and better connectivity across key corridors in Southeast Asia. But there are also concerns that come with this model. Since the project is financed and operated by Chinese entities, questions come up about long-term control, toll pricing, and revenue flow. There are also broader concerns about how much influence external investors gain over critical infrastructure. At the same time, supporters argue that without this type of financing, projects like this would take decades to materialize, if they happen at all. So the situation is not one-sided. On one hand, Cambodia gets faster infrastructure development and improved connectivity. On the other, it becomes more closely tied to China's economic network. And if this expressway performs the way planners expect, the impact will go far beyond transport. Let's start with the structure of the economy. Cambodia has relied heavily on garments, agriculture, and low-cost manufacturing. These sectors depend on exports, but they also depend on how quickly goods can reach international markets. When transport improves, the entire equation changes. Factories can operate with tighter timelines, exporters can commit to faster delivery schedules, and international buyers gain more confidence in supply reliability. That is how countries move up in supply chains. Now look at geography. Infrastructure does not just move goods, it reshapes where economic activity happens. Areas along the route between Phnom Penh and Bavet start to gain value because they offer direct access to a high-speed corridor. This is where industrial zones, warehouses, and logistics hubs begin to cluster. Land that once had limited commercial use becomes part of a trade corridor. You have already seen this pattern in countries like Vietnam. As expressways expanded, manufacturing zones followed. Cities connected to highways grew faster, attracted more foreign investment, and integrated deeper into global production networks. Cambodia now has the foundation to follow a similar path, but there is a condition attached to that. Infrastructure alone does not guarantee growth. It needs supporting systems, efficient border processing, stable policies, skilled labor, and consistent investment. Without those, even the best highway cannot deliver its full potential. There is also the question of scale. One expressway improves one corridor, but for nationwide transformation, multiple corridors need to connect, forming a network rather than a single route. Cambodia has already started moving in that direction, with projects linking Phnom Penh to coastal ports and now to international borders. If that network continues to expand, the country's logistics system begins to shift from fragmented to integrated. And that is where the long-term impact becomes clear. This expressway is not the final step. It is an early piece of a larger system that could reshape how Cambodia produces, moves, and exports goods over the next decade. Now here's a question for you. If China continues building these links across Southeast Asia, does it reshape how the entire region trades with the world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.